How you doing? Welcome to the Sunday Night Chat. My name's Mike. If you haven't been here before, a little different tonight. I'm getting a late start. I haven't been feeling very well, and I don't have my mic. So if the sound isn't as good as it normally is, apologies. I got to buy another mic. That's just the way it is. I left it at the shop, and now with the construction going on in the back here, I'm mostly keeping the van over there, and I'm riding a bike back and forth. And you guys know sometimes I shoot video there, I shoot this here, and it's just better to have two complete setups. All I need is another mic. I'll pick one up. So last night for dinner, I ate some Trader Joe's, these like meat pie things, and I didn't look at the ingredients. And man, they had cream in them, and milk in them, and whey in them, and skim milk powder, and I'm lactose intolerant. I can eat Parmesan cheese and Swiss cheese and stuff like that, and I'm golden. I can eat the lasagna that they have, no problems. But man, that started getting to me last night, and then trying to sleep last night, and I might have to get up in the middle of this and pause this just to go use the bathroom. Not good. And there's a birthday party today I could have been at, but I'm just not doing that. So it screwed up the whole day already. So I'm actually starting to feel a little bit better. That's why I decided I would do this. Not sure really everything I want to talk about, but we're starting off with kind of some promotional stuff in a way. Okay, you guys know I've been talking about t-shirts and whatnot. This week I did a video where I said I need a guru, a graphic arts guru, right? Okay. Yeah. Woo! Some people reached out. It turned out that the files I sent the guy who's going to be burning my screens for silk screening says to me, and actually did it through my buddy Chad, that what I sent him the second round was good enough. I don't know when he's going to burn the screen, because when you're a silk screener, they've got to pick a day, to just burn screens. They got to do a setup just to do that. It's light sensitive and all that. So when he gets to it, he'll get to it. On Chad, I don't know how much you guys know or remember. Some of what I was going to talk about today, and hopefully we'll get to it, is going to touch on relationships that you have with your friends and all that. And Chad is one of my all-time favorite people. Great dude, man. And we are of the same ilk, let's say. We're both creative artist type people. We can conceptualize an idea, and we have the ability to make it happen. And if we don't know how to do something and we want to do it, we teach ourselves how to do it. It's kind of hard for us to understand everybody else out there, because I know people that have artistic ability. If you can draw, if you're an artist, if you could draw things so out of your brain and make it look cool, could be in any style, you have the ability to do anything else. Believe it or not, I'm telling you, you can do that. And I wish you would. Part of what I'm doing here, and I don't bring this up enough, and I have brought it up in the past in the videos, I'm going to bring it up right now. This is like watching a movie that has subplots, right? One of the subplots of this channel is, I want you to understand that you can do a hustle. You can have a side hustle. And it's capitalism. We're going to get into capitalism versus communism. We're going to talk about there's no kings. These morons with this no kings bullshit. This is all coming, all right? Because the truth is, if you're creative and you have an idea and you have some friggin' gumption, and you're not lazy, and you're likable. Being likable is a big deal, because if you're likable, you can meet people, talk to people, make things happen. You can make deals with people. You can make things happen. You can get somebody to help you out with something, and then you're going to do something for them. And then when some money comes in, now you're making money. Now you can afford to pay people to do things. And that's the way the world works. Human interaction. My entire existence is based on my ability to have oral contracts with people. That's all it is. It's pure capitalism in its purest forms. I'm doing what I want to do. I make an arrangement with another human being. We both talk it out. We agree what we're going to do, and then we do it, and I follow through all the time. If I wasn't able to follow through on it, I wouldn't be able to survive. So, you know, you have to be an honest person and all that. And there's other things going on in my life. I don't really want to touch on too much. There's one thing in my life right now that's kind of stressful, and it was based on a deal, and was what it was, and now there's all these other things coming at me that are just crazy. Not really sure how to deal with that. Actually, I had a thing in the mail. I'll get back to what I was saying, but I got a thing in the mail yesterday after not talking to this one specific person for a better part of a week or so. Exactly a week. And I get to the mailbox yesterday, and there's a letter from the same town where this person lives. And the handwriting looks like it could be the same person. And that sent like an adrenaline spike through my body. And I had a Bell's palsy several years ago, and I got that nerve thing here, and my side of my mouth went numb and everything, and I felt a little pain in my chest. I thought I was going to have a freaking heart attack because this situation is screwing with me that much. And thank God there's a woman I've been talking to. She's such a sweetheart, and I called her yesterday, and I have somebody in my life that I can talk to about it, that understands the situation, because that's a very important thing to have. And it goes back to Chad and having friends. And there was a moment like a year ago with Chad where we had this thing, and we didn't talk for a little bit, and then he went through this health issue, and could have killed him. He got over it. And we're cool now. Everything's fine. Water under the bridge, man. You know, friendships do that. But one of the things I've been talking to him about is doing YouTube videos. And he wants to do it. And he, if you guys don't know, he's an artist. He was an artist for Hot Rod magazines. He's a graffiti artist. He's done all these things. He is let's say he's kind of a creative horticulturist. Grows a specific type of plant that, he's been growing one strain for over 30 years. There's all kinds of cool stuff. It was in the bicycle thing. He's not doing the bicycle stuff anymore. We will get to t-shirts with this about that. He was a silk screener, had a silk screening business for years. He's just done all these things. And I've been telling him, like, dude, if you had a YouTube video, I think people would be interested in. I've done videos with Chad here on this channel. I forgot to look at the watch again. I have done videos with Chad here, and many of you like those videos. Some of you that follow me here are bicycle people, so you know who he is. Tick Wunner. Some of you own some of his parts, the stuff that he's made, and we all respect Chad in the clunker world and all that. And anyhow, he's not doing any more bike stuff. But he's been breeding fish and selling fish. He clones plants and sells plants. The big thing with him is just finding trash in the alleys out there in the valley and just reselling it, fixing it up. His entire home is Chad, modern day Sanford & Son. That's his pad, man. If you remember Sanford & Son with Red Fox and Lamont, I would be Grady, I suppose, coming by the house once in a while. I can't believe I just referred to myself as Grady. At any rate, that's Chad's pad. And so Chad now is like, okay, I'm finally going to do a video. And he did one. He put one together. He did all his editing and everything. It's kind of funny. He'll get better at it. Chad, if you're watching this, you'll get better. Because that video just ends. It just fucking ends. I know he put a bunch of editing into it. And if you are watching this, watch the video I posted yesterday just on what's going around here. And that was just clips I stitched together on the phone. Much, much simpler. At any rate, I'm just telling you now, it's Tick Wunner dash something, a couple numbers. But if you type in Tick Wunner, at Tick Wunner, one word, you'll see he's got two pages on YouTube. One he can't get back into. But look at that one, because it only has 2 videos, but there's one there called The Hurt Machine. If you just type in The Hurt Machine on YouTube, this is a video he did like a long time ago. Maybe 10 years ago. It's like a 3-minute video. It's so well, I think it's super cool. I think it's cool. And I know he has the ability to make cool videos, and he will hit his stride with this. So this is me asking you, look him up. There will be a link when I'm done on here talking to you. there will be a link. I'll put it in the description box underneath this video. They'll take you right, because he's got like 3 subscribers right now. and this is not picking on Chad, but this first video he does, it's kind of like an introduction. He walks around his house and his neighborhood and showing you the stuff that he's doing. I don't want to give anything away right now, but go check it out and you'll kind of get an idea of what's coming, because he's a doer. He has ideas, he makes it, and he's a naturally kind of funny guy, and he's matter of fact. We're very similar. I'm just better looking, you know. Anyhow, this is one of the shirts that Chad made. I got the last of his shirts. I am not selling these shirts, okay? I have a few that I'm still wearing, but this is one of 3 that are still brand new, and I figure these will get me till the day I die now, right? I told him he has to print new ones, but this is one of Chad's shirts. So single color ink, 1 color, right? And on the back, he does exactly what I'm going to do with his logo. I'm going to have the Mike Z Design logo underneath the neckline on the back there. So this is a clunker, you know, straight bar Schwinn frame with all the parts labeled on there. And I had talked to him about this because I'm probably going to do something similar, but I'm going to do it with my specific builds. And that'll be fun. So that'll be coming down the pike. As long as I have somebody that can make some screens for me. Now, the guy who's making the screens for me, I'm not actually talking to him directly. So far, it's just been, I just sent him emails. He hasn't even responded. Chad's been the middle guy, and Chad doesn't need to be the middle guy, but we'll sort all this out. As I mentioned before, the plan is get the screens, and then I might bring them to a place and pay the money to have a run of t-shirts printed. But the real plan is I'd like to do a video where I'm wearing the t-shirt, and then talking about something else. I could say, if you guys are interested in this shirt, let me know in the comments. If I get enough orders, I'll spend Saturday printing out 10, 15, 20 t-shirts. And then you guys can buy them directly. I'm going to work on making them all 100% cotton, hopefully made in the USA t-shirts, heavyweight cotton, ring spun, no side seams, quality stuff. On that, I'll show you something else here. When I made the video the other day asking for a graphic arts guru, I got a voicemail from this guy, Adam, who's a great dude, man. I just didn't think of Adam. Adam has an Astro van. We met because of that. He has his own t-shirt company called The Poster List. And for decades, he's been locked in with, like, I think it's Macy's, Bloomingdale's, places like that. So higher end stores like mall shops and things like this were carrying his designs. That's what he does, man. So that's been slowing down, especially after COVID. People don't go out as much anymore. They're not shopping. Mostly it's online. So he's doing more like shows. He goes to events and sells his stuff there, but he also has an online thing. And you know what? I don't know what the name of his company is. Well, it's The Poster List, so look for The Poster List. Because the Astrovan stuff, he's talking, he goes, dude, I came up with a design. I call it the Astrovan Surf Club. He's a surfer down in Long Beach. Dude, we got to go surfing. I don't surf out here. I surf when I go to New Jersey. It's ridiculous. I'm like 12 miles from the beach. I should be surfing. The water's colder here. And I don't have like a bro, like a dude I know that could motivate me to get in the truck and drive over there. When I'm home, you walk a block or 2 blocks and the break is right there and you just surf. Much more convenient to surf in my hometown. And the water's warmer on the East Coast, believe it or not. Anyhow, this is a shirt. It's a pocket tee, and he just sent this to me. It was very cool. We got the logo right there, but even better, boom. Look at this. Look how cool that is. Thanks, Adam. So this is the sort of thing I'm going to do, right? We're going to do the Mike Z Design t-shirts. We'll do some Astrovan t-shirts, but we're also going to come up with I have books of ideas of t-shirts I've been wanting to do. So people keep asking me for t-shirts. We're just going to make it happen here. What else? This is a t-shirt I designed. This probably goes back 10 years or more. And this guy made me screens, printed me t-shirts. I paid him. I gave a bunch of shirts away. I don't even think I sold any of them. I think I gave them all away at the time. And those were the Mike Z Design t-shirts. I think I printed 50 shirts. And this was another design I had. And then this guy like lost his mind for some reason. I'm trying to think of the name of his company. It might come to me. But he moved to Florida for a while, and then he never gave me those screens, which I essentially paid for. And so it's gone now. And I think he's back here in LA now, but this was one of the shirts that I had made. This is one of the very few of these that even exist. So this was my design, and this is another shirt that I'd like to recreate. So I need a graphics person to help me make this design into a file, or we could change it up a little bit. I wouldn't mind changing it up a little bit. But let's make this, get this into a JPEG file that's correct to make a screen, burn a screen, and then I'll start printing these too, because I know people like that shirt. Now, what else is here? I also want to talk about this really cool chick I know, and her name's Vanessa. Hi, Vanessa. She has a company called 5 Point Parts. I met Vanessa at the Duct Tape Drags. It's a drag race thing where people drag race their beaters near in Tucson, kind of the Tucson area out there in Arizona. Last year I went to it, and she drives all over the western U.S. in an old vintage Dodge van loaded with Mopar parts. That is her thing, man. She hits up junkyards. She will help people organize their junkyards. She will help you find parts for your cars. Mopar. And she's got some cool swag. You've seen me wearing the shirt before. I should have it out, but I don't. But this is one she just sent me the other day. She's got a new design. This is a multicolor. So this is red and yellow, it looks like. And then just the black. So pretty smart. Oh, white. 3 colors. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. I want to promote her, so check her out. 5 Point Parts. 5pointparts.com. I know she's got a store. Check out her stuff. Buy her stuff. Very cool. I want to do an interview with her at some point. It would be fun to hang out with her. She's a cool chick, man. Oh, and also Adam sent me some stickers for the Astro van. So this is just a swag thing. I'm explaining. I'm kind of in the mix with these people. I know what I'm doing now, and we're going to make it happen. I've been talking about it for a long time. Years. We're right there, man. We're right. It's about to happen. Of course, money now is suddenly a little bit tight because the project I'm working on has taken way longer than I thought it would. Just milling this lumber, but I'm pretty much done. I'm not done, but I'm pretty much. I'm right now milling the panels for these doors. I've milled them all to 5/8 of an inch thick. They're going to end up being about 3/8 of an inch thick when they're done. We don't need to get into that right now. That's the weeds inside baseball. You don't care. Okay. What else is happening? Well, today, or yesterday it was, we've got a bunch of zombies out there. No King's Day. They did it on the 4th of July. I did a short here with my tricorn hat and a cigar, laughing at them, pointing out that the 4th of July is the original No King's Day, man. We don't have kings here. If you had a king here, you wouldn't be able to do what you're doing. Period. Period. Our governor of this state, that guy acts like a king. That's a guy that people voted for some things and he's said no to it. He's enacted things. While the rest of us were locked down, couldn't go out or anything, couldn't put your kids in school. He's got his kids in private school and he's eating out at a restaurant. We all know what this guy is, okay? He's a hypocrite, scumbag, corrupt lizard person. I'm trying to be polite. So, the thing is, these people, they don't realize that they have an addiction to the screens. And the algorithm is programming them to be these zombies. And they just say the dumbest things. I mean, that's why their heads explode when, like a person with a normal brain, that you don't have to be a genius. You just start questioning what they're saying and they can't back it up. And they're like, fuck you. You're a Nazi. Like, that's their thing. As soon as, and I'm not picking on anybody, not trying to harass anybody here. I just want to be clear. I'm being nice. I'm not trying to harass anybody. I'm just telling what the truth is. YouTube, man. That thing with YouTube taking me down for a week knocked my revenue in half. And it ain't coming back right now. I can see the numbers, so it's a bummer. We'll see how it works out. At any rate, I've been watching some of these videos with, people on the street talking to them, and there's all these like, free Palestine people who are also the commies, right? The people who want communism. And you listen to them talk, and it kills me. I wish I was talking to them. I just don't know that I have the patience for it. Because you listen to them like, well, we want to take over business. We don't want there to be billionaires and all these things. I just have to point a couple things out. Number one, wealth is not finite. It's not like there's this much wealth on the planet and more people have most of that wealth and the rest of the people don't. That's a dumb way of thinking. It doesn't work like that. Wealth can be made from anything. And, separate from the people who inherited it and all that, there are people still creating wealth all the time. All you got to do is build a better mousetrap, right? I mean, that's what it boils down to. If you come up with a good idea and you're smart, people will buy that product. And if you're successful, you will expand. You'll take the money and you will reinvest it in that business, producing that product, and you will hire more people. Well, now you're providing jobs to people that don't have that ability, right, that you had, which is important because not everybody has that ability, okay? It's just the irony is you get so big that you're employing dozens of people. Now you're employing hundreds of people. Maybe you're employing thousands of people. And you get so big that you're making millions of dollars. And then all of a sudden, people start coming in, they want to work for you, and they start wanting to dictate terms to you. When they will and won't work. They want to work from home. They want all these benefits. They want this, they want that. And it's good to give people enough, But that's insane. It's always the people that don't create things that make it harder for the people that create things. You understand what I'm saying? So when it comes to the commies, you listen to them and they say, we want to take over private businesses. Well, okay. How's that? Because the result of communism, as we know, is a ruling class and serfs. You ever read the book, The Road to Serfdom by Hayek? I got it right up here. Read that. They don't read these people. They're programmed with bullshit, and then they repeat it over and over and over again to each other. It's nuts. Communism cannot be created in a vacuum of nothing. Communism can only exist by tearing down the things that better ideas built first. Period. Communism doesn't produce anything positive. It doesn't produce anything other than misery. Equal misery for all except for the ruling class. Look at a map at night. This is going to be one of my t-shirts, by the way. There's probably people doing it already. I'm just working on the design. It's going to be a map of Korea at night, where you see North Korea with one light on. And then you see South Korea. It looks like a friggin' Christmas tree, man. You pick communism or freedom. You know what I'm saying? It's just... And this is like when you're out there and these people are talking communism, it's like talking to a flat earther. You understand what I'm saying? Like I love the flat earth people because you're like, well, explain weather. I could go on and on and on. Explain that you look at the horizon and it bends. I mean, explain the moon. I mean, there's so many things. It's just so dumb. But I keep telling you. It's all an idiot test. Communism, socialism is an idiot test. I was talking to some people this past week I talked to a teacher the other night, a friend of mine, and I was going off on the Common Core math thing again and talking about teachers and what the problem is with schools. And she was taking offense to it because, women, we got to get into this. Hang on. I get so much shit. I got shit from a guy who I really like, him and his wife, and he's a great dude. He's like, well, you do kind of talk bad about women. I'm like, well, and I generalize. Well, why are you always generalizing? Well, it's because I'm a human being, and we all do that. That's what you do. And as adults, I think we're all supposed to understand that it is a generalization. But do you know why generalizations are a thing that we all do? Because generally speaking, generalizations hold to be true. That's basically how it works, man. Stereotypes exist because generally speaking, they're accurate. You might not like it, but it's a thing, right? If you're in a group of one of these groups that has a specific stereotype and you're not one of those people, you're like, oh, this is aggravating. But then when you watch TV or you go out in public and you see somebody from your group acting exactly the way the stereotype depicts your group, what do? These people, they're wrecking the whole thing. Yeah, exactly. Because it's true. So, when I'm going off on women at different times, I'm clearly not talking about all women. And the women that are here watching this channel, they actually know that. Most of you do. But when you're having a conversation with women, it's so funny because I was talking to my friend. I love this girl. We went out years ago. She's married now. I love her husband too. Cool guy. And as I'm trying to get my point out, she starts like arguing. And I have to say, hey, it's not about you. Let me finish my point. And then she's like, well, and she happens to teach at a private school. That's totally different. Private schools are not the public schools. Your kids are going to get a better education in a private school. Your kids are going to get a better education from homeschooling. I did a whole like what if video weeks ago about like the one room schoolhouse. Like to me that would make sense if a group of parents in a community, or whether they can network within a few zip codes or whatever, you guys could have a location. It could be somebody's house or a guest house, or somebody has a business with a spare room or something, where all the parents bring the kids there, and then the parents change out. So you can have I don't know how many subjects you would teach in a day. Let's say it's 5. Well, you can have 5 different parents, each one teaching one class. But there might be 15 parents involved in this, and they can all rotate around one another's schedules. And that would be, to me, that seems like a pretty neat idea, as long as you guys can all agree on how that's going to work out. Just a thought. And I went through that whole bit about like the problems with public school is they've worked it to the point where the only teachers are all of the same ilk. There's no more conservatives really teaching in schools. If you look at the numbers, the stats tell you it's a very small percentage of conservatives are teachers anymore. And the reason for that is they don't want the, imagine being, and I'm going to just repeat what I did in that video, I guess, but imagine being in the teacher's lounge, and I'm drinking, I'm listening, yeah. You said what to your kids today? What are you, fucking stupid? Like that, they don't want that. They don't want that conflict. They don't want their beliefs and their actions to be questioned. They just want to keep pumping nonsense into these young minds. And it used to be, if you wanted to be a teacher, it was because you believed in the youth and the future. And you wanted to be a positive influence on young minds in a way where you wanted to help them to be able to learn on their own and teach themselves, right? Be able to reason things out, look at things from all sides. You wanted to help these kids to navigate the rest of their lives. And that's not what it is now for the most part, especially in the public school system. It's most of the people there. This is my belief system based on what I hear these people say, and I've known a lot of teachers, and I've got teachers that think like I do still that are in these schools, and I know from listening to them what they have to deal with. A lot of these people get the job because to them teaching is an easier gig than working in construction. I mean, think about it. You're indoors, you got climate control, you got your holidays off, you got your weekends, you get your summer, you get a pension. Compared to what you could be doing, not so bad. Yeah, you got to deal with kids and everything else. I know that every job has an issue. I'm just saying that's what people are weighing out. So they're doing it because to them, it's an easier gig than something else that another option, for lack of a better way of putting it. So it's not that all teachers care about the kids. That's just a fact. I do think that the teachers that are working at the private schools, I actually know quite a few people that teach at private schools. And when you talk to them, and actually some of them not only work in private schools, but worked in the public school system first. So when you talk to those people and they tell you the differences about how those places are run, it's amazing. Completely different. But these people who are out there, the No Kings thing, the communists, the people at the TDS, a lot of them are just angry, bitter people. And there's a lot of angry, bitter people out there who are not political at all. They're just angry, bitter people who just lack the ability to take responsibility for their own actions. They're angry with life. They don't know how to navigate it. They don't, everything is everybody else's fault. Trying to deal with them is a thing. It's very difficult. I actually wrote a couple notes for myself. This, I think, Pat sent me this and his wife there. So now I can actually read. I was writing in a little notebook and I could barely see what the hell I was writing, but that book's full now. And because I wrote down here single moms too, because it's a funny thing. I've dated quite a few single moms in my life. I don't like doing it too much because there's a lot to deal with there. And it's interesting. The single moms that are cool tend to be the ones that are single because sadly, the husband passed away. That's the thing. Then there's two other types, right? I think there's at least two other. There's the ones that were married and then got divorced that hate their husbands, and there's some that got divorced amicably. Okay. Again, with this prefacing of everything because I'm generalizing, but the ones who just hate their husbands, when you listen to them, bitch about men all the time. It's a constant mantra of men are horrible. And you listen to it enough, you just always want to turn it around on them and go, listen to what you're saying. What man would want to be around you? Men don't want to put up with that bullshit. I don't want to hear somebody who's negative all the time, just bitching all the time. I get that life isn't perfect all the time, but Jesus, please, stop bitching all the time. Nobody wants to hear it, man. And so many of these people I know they're never happy. Never happy. They're happy for 5 minutes. A lot of people I know, they seem like the type, and these are people I know going way back. I don't interact with these people anymore. My world now, as much as I can control it, is good-hearted, positive-minded people that are doers. Those are the people I want in my life, period. I don't want to deal with people. And people are really emotional. And they're so emotional, they actually say how emotional they are. They'll be like, my feelings this, and you're not respecting my feelings and how I feel about that. Your feelings don't matter, man. When feelings are your number one thing that you're running on, that's telling everybody else around you're not using logic anymore. Because Philosophy 101, Psych 101, these are all classes I studied in school. The rule is emotions are unreliable. You cannot base your decisions and your critical thinking on emotional thought. You just can't do it. And when emotion comes into the brain, logic goes out the window. That is how it works all the time. So when somebody's agitated and they're yelling at you, screaming at you, and accusing you of all these things, throwing all this stuff at you, there's so much emotion there, this negative energy, you can't even speak to it. You can't talk to the person in that moment because they're not hearing it. The only things that they'll hear enough until you say something that triggers something in their brain that is most of the time based on something that they invented in their brain, that then they go off on that. I'm just saying, I know people that do this, and it makes it so I can't even discuss anything with that person anymore. And it's a sad thing, because I don't care how off-kilter things are, if you can't have a civil conversation with somebody, then you just can't talk to the person. I'm not a yeller and a screamer. I get a little PTSD from that, because my mom was like that. She was like, wah. My dad was the calm one. My dad was the quiet one, and I was there. I lived through it. I watched the whole thing develop right up to the divorce. And I'm the one that found the papers. I went down there and there was the thing. I said, custody of the children. I had never cursed in front of my parents before. I was like 13. And there was this, real official looking thing of papers there, with paper clips on it or whatever. Custody of children. And both my parents were sitting there and I went, what the fuck is this? I was about to be 14, or maybe I just turned 14. Because that was the age where you could choose who to go with. And so my mom was doing all the talking and my dad's just kind of sitting there like this. Yeah, like he had enough. I didn't blame him. And it was an interesting thing with my old man because I was mad at him a little bit when I was a kid for putting up with all the crap that he put up with because I wasn't ever going to put up with that. Ever. I've told this story before. When I was about 5 or 6, I was very young. My mom was constantly yelling at my dad, constantly just screaming at him and making shit up. I'd be at home, my whole life at home. When she had her friends come over, I would listen to these women talking. Now you know where this is coming from, by the way. This is why I'm so sensitive to women that are like this. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about good women. I'm talking about these crazy women that are emotionally unstable. And there's a good percentage of them. Not all of them. Being very specific here. And I would hear these women. I would eavesdrop on purpose. And they would all talk crap about their husbands. And then my mom would chime in because it was an outdoing of, you think that's bad. Oh, you should hear this and you should hear this and the way that smells and the way he snores and the stuff on the floor. It was just nothing but bitch, 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 bitch. They run on bitch, 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 bitch is their fuel, man. That is their comfort zone. Constant state of being a bitch. Bitching, being a bitch. That becomes their normal thing. And I'm listening to my mom say these things, and I'm like, I live in this house. I'm not seeing what she's saying at all. I live here. This is not happening. So that's when I knew, like, okay, adults lie to each other. That was an eye-opening thing, man. That was an eye-opening thing. But like when I was like 5 or 6 years old, my mother's just yelling at my dad, and my dad was pretty quiet, but every once in a while, and I'm the same way, you're going to come at me with all this stuff. I'm going to be calm until you say something that's just not accurate. Or I know I have to straighten out that one thing that you just said because I can't let you have that thought because it's not correct. What you're thinking there is not correct. So I have to correct that, at least that one thing. That's how my dad exactly was. And he'd be like, hey, and he might have to get a little loud once in a while, but she was the one yelling and screaming all the time. I walked into the room, and already at this age, I couldn't take it anymore. And I went, hey, I can't take this anymore. I'm leaving. I go in the kitchen, and I get all these, the paper bags, when you go grocery shopping. I bring them in my room, and I've got like 5 or 6 of these bags, and I'm putting my clothes and my toys, and these are paper bags, they're so tall, and I'm filling them up, and I don't know, 10 minutes goes by or so, 15 minutes, I don't know how long. I'm a kid, and this is a long friggin' time ago. I'm talking 53 years ago or something. It's hard to remember that far. My dad comes in, he goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm leaving. He goes, what do you mean you're leaving? I said, I can't take this shit anymore. I'm talking like a 30-year-old man to my dad. He's looking at me. I was always like that. I was always like a little adult. And he goes, what's the problem? I said, you guys don't stop. She won't stop, and you let her go on with it. I can't take it anymore. I don't know why you married this woman. I mean, I'm talking to him like that, in this manner. And he goes, well, how are you going to survive? I'm like, well, you took me to work before. I can work. I know how to make money. I can sweep a floor, pull weeds. I can do whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes to make money. He goes, where are you going to sleep? I said, I can sleep anywhere. When you take me camping, when we go out, where do we sleep? We sleep on the ground. I can sleep on the ground. I can figure out where to sleep. He goes, okay. He says, well, how are you going to carry all these bags of your stuff? And I look around and I look at him and I go, okay, you got me on that. But if I'm sticking around, you got to solve this, man. I can't take this shit anymore. I mean, I'm talking to him exactly the way I'm talking to you right now. A little 6-year-old kid, I couldn't take it, man. I couldn't take it. So by the time this happened, where they were going to get divorced, I'm like, I'm going with Dad. But my thought in my brain at that point was, I just didn't want him to be alone. And what that led to was me living alone. Because at that time, he was a baker. My dad was a really good baker. He used to have a bakery. And at this point, he was doing diners. And so he would do a diner. You go in there and you bake everything that diner needs for 3, 4, 5 days, however long it's going to take before you get back to that diner. Right? So pies, cakes, cookies, brownies, any of the breads, any of that stuff. Boom, 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 boom. He makes it. Pastries. And then he would go to the next diner and do that. And the next diner and do that. And the next diner and do that. And most of these rooms that you bake in are like in the basement of these diners with no windows. It's like working in a dungeon. And for 4 years, just about 4 years, my dad didn't even have a place. Like he slept on flour sacks. He slept in the back seat of his car, and he paid rent. He paid the rent for me. He'd find me a different beach house in Seaside every year. First year I was in New York. That's a whole other story. That was a crazy year. First year living alone, and this is not what I was going to talk about, but I'm okay with this because people oftentimes here in the comments, they don't understand when I say I've been living alone since I was 14. This is the story. So, man, that first year was interesting because he was home most weekends. So for the rest of the week, I was out and about, man. And before that, when I lived in Patterson, I had gotten into a lot of trouble. I was a hoodlum. And I got in a lot of trouble. I hung out with some of the wrong crowd. And one of the guys I was friends with, I went out with him one night and he burnt a store to the ground and then blamed me for it. And I've told that story here before. There's videos that tell the whole story. And, my dad wasn't happy about that. And then, so this freshman year, we're up there in Suffern, New York. And Rolling Hills High School or something. I can't remember the name of it. I still have my ID from it. Doesn't matter. Nice town, but the kids there were freaking crazy, man. They all had dirt bikes and everything, and with the cops it was insane what we would do. We would even have a fake fight on a corner, and like at night, and a car would pull up, and the adult would get out to break the fight up, and another kid would jump in the car and steal the car, and we go joyriding all night. It's crazy, man. We were doing a lot of crazy shit, and I got again in with some other kids that I probably shouldn't have got in with, and was smoking grass and cutting school, no guidance, and but there was repercussions for that, right? So, end of freshman year, I failed 5 subjects because I wasn't going to school, and my dad had a little talk with me, and he says to me, "Look, you got a choice, man." He's like, "If you don't want to go to school, it's cool. Don't go to school. But then you're going to work with me every day." And I used to work with him in the summers, and that was a rough job. He says, if you go to school, you got to go to school every day, and you got to pass. So I went to summer school for 3 of the subjects so I could pass 9th grade, and I did that. And then I said to him, well, can I live down the shore, at the Jersey Shore? Because that was the happiest place for me. It was like Disneyland for me as a kid. My dad had found that town. Boy, in the 1950s, he got down there, probably in the early 50s, and he started managing this bakery. And then he was running it for this old couple, and then they didn't want to do it anymore. They were old. They didn't have any kids, so they gave him the business. It was called Elaine's Bakery. It was right there on Central Ave, between 3rd and 4th, on the east side of the street, right across from the elementary school. Before Joey's Pizza was even there. If you guys know Seaside Park, New Jersey, and you're old, you know what I'm talking about. So every summer we lived in Seaside, and it was a seasonal business. And then after that, we would live in North Jersey, or we'd bounce around North Jersey and go to school and everything. So that's where I was happiest, and I loved it there. So I said to my dad, I was like, well, you're not home anyhow. What difference does it make where I'm living and going to school? Can I go down the shore and go to school down there? And I had some friends that I remembered still from down there. He says, okay, but again, you have to understand, I had been in a lot of trouble. Okay, it wasn't just the arson thing. I was breaking into places. I was a lot of fighting. I hurt some people. A lot of crazy stuff had happened. So the deal was, you go to school every day and you pass and you keep your nose clean. And I loved my father, and he was always treated me like a man ever since I was a kid. And I've told other stories here before. By the time I was 8, I could live in the woods with a knife and some snare wire and fishing line and some hooks, man. I'm telling you, that's how we did it. He would take me out in the woods, and that's how we would live. Spring snares, trout lines, sleeping on the frigging ground. It was wild. I thought that was normal. I thought that's what everybody did. So I was very mature, and confident and not afraid of anything. So that was the deal we made. And then what he would do is every 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, he knew everybody in town. If he didn't leave from there, he would have been the mayor of that town. You understand? If we didn't move back north and everything, my mom kept making a move up north because her family was up there and she wanted to be close to them every year. Everything, my dad fell into that trap that a lot of men fall into with an overbearing woman, which is to placate her. You think it'll shut her up, is if you let her have her way. But if you let her have her way, the truth is she ends up not having any respect for you. And my dad didn't understand that. My dad thought he was going to marry somebody. You know, he thought women were like they were in Greece or something, and they're not. American women are not like that. And he also had bad taste. His taste was beautiful women. My mom was beautiful. Sadly, I'm generalizing again. Get ready to be offended. Sadly, a lot of beautiful women are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, man. Like, out of their friggin' minds. You know, it's insane. And they never got cracked one when they were little, when they said the wrong thing to the wrong person. Like, with boys, I've said this multiple times here. As a little boy, if I said the wrong thing to the wrong guy at the wrong time in the wrong place, bam, I got punched in the mouth. And that's how I learned, I should watch my mouth. That doesn't happen to girls, right? Generally speaking. So a woman could grow up, become an adult, and just be able to say the most vile things in your face and be like, I mean, and this thing. And if a guy did that to you, bam! What was that? Excuse me, come again? Bam! What was that? Bam! I mean, but you can't do that to a woman. You understand? So it's insane what women will do. And my mama used to do that to my dad. And I would hear these things, these arguments. And if she just would have shut up and let him plan this out a little bit better, our lives would have been totally different. And it's ironic because later in life, talking to my mom, and we got along fine, you know, in later years. There was a period there where it was tough with her. But she said to me one time, she's like, I would have taken your father back. And I kind of had a laugh at her. I was like, what makes you think he would have went? There's no way that would have happened. She was just delusional. You know, I never wanted to make her feel bad. That's the thing. At any rate, I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm just saying this is my life. So in the summers, I lived in a boarding house on 9th Ave that doesn't exist anymore. And every summer I worked on the boardwalk and I made my own money, paid my own way. So I've been living alone and like an adult since I was 14 years old. Which is a crazy thing when you think about it. I mean, how many kids were living? I had zero guidance, man. Zero. By the time I was a senior, I saw my dad about one weekend a month. Because by then I proved myself, he trusted me and all that. So it was an interesting thing. It wasn't easy being alone. You know, I mean, I had nobody to... I had to figure out life for myself, man. Totally, 100%. So I was actually stunted in some ways trying to figure things out. Like, I didn't know, like, I didn't have anybody around to explain that, you know, women, you know, that thing once a month that happens, what that can do to some women. And you all react to it a little bit differently. Some of you are more sensitive to it than others. But I didn't know that it made like 25% of you insane. I didn't know that like every 28 days, there's like 25-30% of women out there that go friggin' cuckoo. Like, just totally nuts, man. Like, monsters, man, monsters. And that's normal. That's normal. Like, nobody told me that. I didn't get that. You know, my dad never even said me about, it could have been my mother's thing. I don't know. I never put that together as a kid. Wasn't looking at a calendar. All I know is shit was flying at my head every once in a while. Maybe that's what it was. But I didn't know any of that. And it was so funny when I figured it out. And if I was going out with a girl who would do something like that, I'd be like, you know, don't you think it's just this? And then some of those women, there's like another percentage of the 30% that does lose their shit that also won't admit that that's what the problem is. Like, total denial. Like the denial that some people will do. And I'm sure men could do it too, but I think women take the cake on this. I think they win the medal. You know what I'm saying? The things that they can. I do not know a guy, I have not yet met a dude, that will have a thought in their brain. They'll invent a thought. Maybe something got triggered, something was said, they read something, they heard something, they read a text wrong, something like that. Get something in their head, and then just go crazy on it off of that. Like, a woman can have a dream. She can have a dream that you did something as a man. You did something in the dream that pissed her off. And when she wakes up the next day, she's going to treat you like shit because of what she dreamt in her mind. Now, there's a lot of men out there that are with women that they love to death. And they're the mother of their children and they're doing a great job. And some of those women possess the characteristics I'm describing now. And you guys put up with it because you still love these women, and I commend you. You are better men than I am. 100%, you are better than I am. I do not think I'm the greatest dude out there. I don't think I know everything there is to know. I don't think I'm right about it all. I can't tolerate it. I can't tolerate it because of what I was raised through. That's just it. As soon as that starts happening, it's like I'm a little tiny kid. I tried to do, matter of fact, this is interesting. I've said this before. There's new people coming in all the time, so I don't mind repeating myself. And by the way, I keep talking about doing the stand-up, and I always wanted to do it, but I didn't want to do it for a long time because I thought that the idea of repeating myself was something that would make me crazy. And now I realize when I'm talking to you guys, I'm doing it anyhow, and it doesn't bother me all that much. So, and that's what that job is. You got to get up on stage in front of people and do the same bit over and over and over again. You refine it here and there. Maybe you get it to a point where that's it. And then you do a restart and start another thing as you age. You know, there's cycles. You can have a block of a bit of time that you refine and get perfect, and then you'll start another one on another subject or something. So when I was a kid, I was probably, would have been around that age, 5, 6, 7 maybe. I had a dream. I've always had premonition dreams. I've always had really weird dreams and recurring dreams. And premonition dreams are dreams that you have that later come true, exactly the way you dreamt it. It's not, what's that other one? Deja vu. That's not deja vu. Deja vu is just you have an overwhelming sense that you've been in this place before, you know? Premonition dreams are different. This is not a premonition dream I'm about to tell you. But I have this dream. And it's all white. And I see Jesus. Just like we know what he looks like, right? The Shroud of Turin, Jesus. And I see from like here up. And he's got this kind of white robe thing on. It's like clouds. It's like clouds, white and beautiful. And a warm light, you know? Beautiful. And then from his left shoulder down on an echelon are men. Just men, no women. Because Jesus would be like, would you shut up already? I'm trying to tell the kids something. Just stop it. We'll just have the men here. All right? We'll have the men over here. There's no women on this side. It's just men. But I remember specifically that all the men were different races. Like a Hindu-looking guy, a black guy, an Asian guy, that sort of thing. All these different races of people. There might have even been people that weren't even human. But I just remember Jesus and boom, 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 boom. The last guy was my dad's Uncle Frank. And he had glasses on, I think, at the time, which is weird. Because I think when you'll hear this in a second. Jesus speaks to me, but I don't know what he's saying. I see his mouth moving, but I don't know what the words are. And then it gets down to Uncle Frank, and he's talking to me. But I don't know what the words are. To this day, I wish I could find out what that is. And I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, there's a woman I know, in the biblical sense, but I know her, we're friends, we used to be friends, I haven't talked to her in a long time, but she got into hypnosis. She helps a lot of people do things like stopping smoking and shit like that. It's pretty cool, actually, it works. So I went in there to do this regression for this dream, and, you know, it's just a meditative state. You know, you sit there and you breathe, and she starts describing. You talk about what your life was like at the time in my room and everything first. So she kind of puts me into that place, and she's trying to get me to the place where I'm sleeping and I'm having a dream so we can figure out what these guys said to me. But what happens is I start thinking about I'm that kid, and it's time for bed, and I'm in my pajamas, and I had feet pajamas. I remember those feet pajamas with like that plastic bottom on the feet so you could walk around the house on and slide on the linoleum floor, you know. Remember the feet pajamas? I got the feet pajamas on, and I'm like, okay, yeah. And then all of a sudden, I'm shaking a little bit, and I'm scared. I'm frightful, what the hell's going on? And it was my mother. And that's the problem. I never understood. Now I understood it at that point. Like she was the type. It's like the guy. I knew a guy like this once. He had this dog, the Dalmatian, and he'd be like, "Oh, I love you so much. Oh, you're so great. Yes, that's you. Good boy, good boy, good boy." And then 15 minutes later, like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And he's kicking his dog. That's my mom. That's kind of how my mom was. So it was like nice, 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 and then bam. So you didn't know, what are we? And that inconsistency thing is something I will not tolerate in my life. I'm not going to tolerate it, period, from anybody. So that's where that stems from. But I still need to get regressed to find out what Jesus and my dad's Uncle Frank said to me. Here's the crazy thing about that dream. I wake up in the morning. I go into the kitchen. I tell my mom what I just told you. She wasn't horrible all the time. I'm just saying. She would do these things. And I tell her what happened. And she's like she turns white as a sheet. Her jaw practically hits the floor. And she looks at me and she says, "Well, your dad's Uncle Frank died last night." Now, the crazy thing is if he's dead, why does he still need to wear glasses? That's the thing that I don't understand. You're dead? Your eyesight is still bad? That doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Why are you wearing glasses? You needed to wear them so I recognized you, I guess? I don't know. You could add no glasses, but I'm your dad's Uncle Frank. Trust me. Put the glasses on C and then take them off and be like, okay, here's the deal, kid. Something. Help a kid out, man. I'm just a kid. So that's all that. Yeah, none of that was what I wanted to talk about, but I guess it's enough. We've probably been talking for about an hour. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I'm glad I got that communism discussion in there because it's just dumb. We all know it's dumb. It doesn't work. And we got to stop. That has to stop. Wherever that's coming from, these professors and the bad teachers and everything else. I guess they're taking the phones away from the kids when they walk into the class now, and then they give them back after class. I know that teachers wouldn't agree with this. They've fought against it in the past. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not saying this should absolutely happen, but I personally wouldn't have a problem if they had cameras in the classroom so that we knew what was going on, because it's going to help. It's like when they put when they put cameras on the cops. That was a scary thing at first. A lot of cops were against it. I was just talking, matter of fact, dude, guy? Dude, I got your watch, man. It's sitting right here in this box. Out of sight, out of mind. I keep forgetting. I promise I'll try to get it in the mail to you today if you're watching this video. That was the Seiko Solar with the band I made. I was talking to a guy about that. He's a retired cop, and he was telling me how when they first put the cameras on, nobody wanted to have it. And then quickly they realized, oh, this is the best thing ever. Because now the world can see what we have to put up with every day. It's the same thing with the teachers. Like if you had a camera in the classroom, it's not like it's monitored all the time, but you could go back and look at the footage if something crazy happens. But that's two things. You get to see how those kids act, yeah? And you get to hear what the teachers are saying to the kids. So if a kid is overly rambunctious in class, hey, you know what? On that parent-teacher day, or even better yet, you could email the parents now, like the parents that don't give two shits that wouldn't show up for the parent-teacher thing anyhow, and you could send them a little clip. Here's a 20-second clip of your kid acting like a friggin' animal in class. I don't know what's going on at home, but make some fucking adjustments because your kid is disrupting the learning of all the other kids in the class. So that would be a positive thing, don't you think? Don't you think? I think so. The other thing would be, some mother could be like, listen, my kid came home today, and he's thinking about cutting his dick off. I'd like to see what's going on in this class. He said that Mrs. Smith was talking about that in class. Can we review those videos, please? Oh, yeah, there's Mrs. Smith, who used to be Mr. Smith 2 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? So let's just... to me, I think in public schools for sure, in private schools for sure. I don't think that I'd have to talk to, I know a couple girls right now are still teaching in private schools. You might be watching the video. If you are, let me know what you think. People who are actually in it. I'm not interested in your opinion if you don't teach. if you're not in that world. But if you teach, I am really genuinely curious about what you think about that, because I think it protects you. I think there's a couple things. Number one, there's this word, it's called integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one else is watching, right? I like to think I possess integrity. That's something that was very big in the Marine Corps. I think, and it's unfortunate that what I think is the truth. I think that there's a good percentage of people that happen to be teachers, and it could be anything, by the way. I sound like I'm picking on teachers right now, but any aspect of life where adults have any sort of say in a way on molding young minds. Could be summer camp, any of those things. When I was a kid, 3 years old, in nursery school, they actually put me in kindergarten at 3 years old. Apparently, I was kind of smart. I have some high intellect or something. Can you believe that one? My mom took me out and made me go back and repeat kindergarten to be with kids my own age. Anyhow, I was talking too much, and the teacher pulled my pants down in front of all the other kids and beat my ass. And I went home and told my mother, and she didn't believe me. It's another thing with her, that I'm telling you what happened and you don't believe me. That's a problem, because I don't lie. I'm not a liar. That's a thing. And so if that happened, if your kid came home and said, my teacher did this, well, now your parent could call the school and say, I want to review the tape and see if this actually happened. If it did happen, well, now that person's going to get reprimanded, fired, or whatever else should happen to them. I would support that. If you have an argument against that, let me know down there in the comments, because you could change my mind. Again, I don't know everything. These are just thoughts that I have. I don't like the surveillance state. I don't like the idea there's cameras everywhere, but I happen to be watching these videos on YouTube where, because the cameras are everywhere, they are capturing a lot of crazy shit that we wouldn't know about if the cameras hadn't been there. So there's positives and negatives. I think if you're a good human being and you're not a criminal and you're not doing nefarious things, you don't really have much to worry about. I suppose, the only thing the conspiracy theory is like they could follow you everywhere, they could track you. Okay, fine. I don't like that either. But if that really bothers you, then change your lifestyle, sell everything you own, make different choices, and go live in the woods someplace, because you could do that. With that, you guys have a good rest of your Sunday. My stomach is acting. This is perfect timing, because you know where I'm about to go. I'm going to go sit down, and this hurts. My lower abdomen hurts right now. I got to remember to read the ingredients next time. Have a good day. Be kind to one another. Seriously, be kind to one another as best as you can. There's going to be people in your life, inevitably, that make it very hard for you to be kind to them. When you encounter that, probably better just to shut down completely. Just don't engage with it. It might be hard sometimes, but it's a hard choice. I think that the only choice that we have when we're dealing with people that are like that, like highly emotionally unstable and whatnot, is to pull away. Because you got to hope for the ones that aren't stupid, You meet a lot of people, and they're like, I'm smart, you don't know how smart I am, and I think that I can figure all this stuff out. But then you look at how they live their life, and you're like, and you don't, you have to be careful, because some of these people, women, they can be volatile, right? Again, with a man, you say the wrong thing, you go, what'd you say to me? And, well, now you know it's coming. Deflect, hit, right? That's the Bruce Lee. Most people are right-handed. Deflect, hit. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah, I'm saying it to you, dude. Back up, and I'm going to say it to you. But with women, you can't do that. But you could say, like, you keep telling me you're smart, but look at how you're living. Look at the choices that you made. So what are you saying to me? Like, you're trying to convince me of something, but I'm seeing this. So don't tell me this. Dude, bro, please. I see how you're living. So there's that. It really is a bizarre thing. But you hope that the ones that are smart at some point wake up and get creatine. If you're one of those people, somebody asked me if I'm taking creatine. I haven't been. I just got it in the mail yesterday. So I've had 2 scoops of creatine so far in my life. And I plan on doing my pull-ups again and my push-ups and throwing some weights around. I'm going to start working out more. I do real short workouts. I 5 to 15 minutes, I get an incredible pump from that, and it's enough. And I only need to do that a few times a week, but I haven't been doing that for like a year, really. I got to get back on that. But if you read up on the creatine, especially if you kind of do more than 5 milligrams a day, it can really help with your cognitive abilities. The kidney thing is not a big problem unless you have a kidney issue already. If you're healthy, you're fine. So, but some of you that have this depression thing and have like a chemical imbalance, look into creatine and think about getting that into your system. Meat helps. All animal products are good for your brain. You need the amino acids, fatty acids, which is a problem. If you're poorer, if you don't have enough money to eat steak and whatnot, I think that could be I think that's a fact, that it's a contributing factor to mental stunting, like your ability cognitively to solve issues and get past emotions and break out of your psychotic episodes, like this feelings thing that you're riding on. You get, because that's why they push veganism, right? And vegetarianism and all that. It's why they want you to eat these fake meats that are not meat. Stay away from that because it's going to make you dumber and crazier. You need the fatty acids, proteins, amino acids that are only found in animal products, period. So if you're one of those people that get emotional and you wake up one day and you realize, wow, I don't have any more childhood friends. Nobody talks to me anymore. People in my own family don't really want to talk to me. Whatever that is. Like if you find yourself in that space, you have to, instead of just, well, it's their fault. They're an asshole. That person's an asshole. They're all assholes. I'm the only one who knows. I'm the smartest person in the room. I think that what I think is the way it is. But you're all alone? Dude. I'm telling you. Eat a fucking steak. Get some creatine or something. Turn your brain on again. Get your brain flowing. Get the blood going. And realize that you are creating your reality with the way that you think about everything. And just because something happens, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It might end up being the best thing that ever happened to you. When I feel emotion, as soon as I feel like overwhelming emotion come over me, like if it's anger or anxiety thing, what is that? I stop to identify that. Why am I feeling like that? Why am I, okay, well, that's what that is. Well, that's not important right now. Or I'm not even sure if that's really accurate. Why am I feeling that? Well, now I know why I'm okay, I've just figured that out. Now I'm going to take that, I'm going to put it in a box. I'm going to put it up here on the shelf in the closet. I'm going to get back to my day. I'm going to separate myself from that emotion so I can get things done and talk to other people in a civil manner and keep my life going on a positive trajectory. You cannot wallow in misery. You can't wallow in emotion. You can't do it. If you're doing that, you are pushing everybody else away. No matter how right you think you are, by the way. If you can't have a civil conversation with another human being, boom. It will hurt you in business, like with doing deals with people. I said earlier in this video, which is a point I wanted to drive home. I'm going to drive it home again right now. I'm an honest guy, and my entire existence is based on oral agreements with people. So I get to know the people first, so I know I can deal with them and work with them. Because people will reveal who they are usually within the first 5 minutes of talking to them. It doesn't take long to figure that person out. Even better when you go to their house and you check it out and you talk to them, you listen. When you talk to somebody and they talk shit about everybody around them, or they're belittling all the people in their family or their friends or their neighbors. It's just, this person's an asshole, this person's that. I mean, without a valid reason, right? We had that crazy lady that lived here. I mean, I wasn't trying to talk shit about her. She was aggravating because of her behavior towards everybody else, right? Nobody did anything to instigate her. She was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, man. That's just the way that was. Those things happen too. But I'm just saying, when you listen to somebody else talk about other people, that's a tell. And like lately, like there's times where I'm talking to people and maybe there's something happening in my life right at that moment where a particular person or a buddy or something has aggravated me, but it's a specific thing. It's very specific. It's about this one subject, and this guy said he was going to do something that he didn't do, and I'm aggravated about it, and I'm blowing off some steam. That's one thing. That's separate. The people I'm talking about are the people who will just, everywhere they go, like they're everything around them is crap. Nobody's as smart as they are. They're smarter than everybody else. This guy's an idiot. This person's an idiot. You understand what I'm getting at. When people are doing that, especially when they're talking crap about the people that they work with, or the family and that sort of thing, where it's just negative, negative, negative. Oh, you see it in the face. When you see that, and this, and that, and this, and when you see that kind of anger, you see it. It ages people, man. It puts the lines in their face and all that. When you see that, the people, when you first meet them, they're fooling, like they're trying to be nice. But when you see those lines, those anger lines that are burnt into the face, you know that that's their normal face, the angry face. You can see it. You can't hide that. The skin tone. They're smoking cigarettes. They're smoking cigarettes all the time. Substances. People, please. If you're highly emotional and you're drinking, and this is the thing with women too, because there's a lot of tinier women who get angry and whatnot, and they're drinking and smoking. Their system is smaller. It can't. You understand what I'm saying? It can't. It's polluting your body and it's polluting your mind. And you're not lucid. So if you're not eating enough meat or meat products, you're not feeding your brain properly, and let's say you wake up in the morning, you're smoking grass, and let's say you smoke grass 5 times throughout the day, and you do that every day, and you do that for years, every day. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that your perspective on reality is warped. 100%. You are not seeing reality. 100% you're not seeing reality. 100%. And the alcohol, same thing. Any other drugs, pills, any of that. You got to get clean. I'm not telling you got to stop drinking altogether. We would all be better off if we didn't drink. I know with me, from time to time, something comes at me, some sort of stressful thing, and I'll make myself a drink. That night, I'll have a drink. I'll smoke a little grass, I'll have a drink. But I prefer not doing that. And I do smoke a little grass. It's not every single night, but when it is, it's a couple puffs, that's it. It's not like all day long and ripping bong hits for hours. No, that's crazy. That's insane. I'm not a child, and I don't need to get like that. And the reason I do is because I'm bored. I'm home alone. I'm going to watch a movie. Maybe I want to watch a comedy and punch it up a little bit in my brain. That's it. But that's not every night. So I'm just putting that out there for you. Listen to what I'm saying. If you're drinking throughout the day, if you have several drinks every night, or if when you do drink, you have more drinks than you should have, and you find yourself, like the people around you kind of walk away, like you get real loud and you get argumentative with people. There's some women I know, once they get a couple drinks in them or something, it's they get cantankerous, man. And like your loved ones, the people that are the closest to you, could be like, they love you, but they're just like, you don't realize that you are annoying the shit out of them right now. Why do you want to do that to the people that you love, is all I'm saying. And a lot of dudes, like I said earlier, you love the woman, and so you don't want to make it worse. The worst time to try to school somebody on their behavior is in the middle of them having an episode. You can only talk to them when they're calm. And that might be the next day or days later, depending on your wife or your girlfriend. Whatever that cycle is, you might have to wait to get through that. Record that shit, There we go. You need cameras in the household. It's like text messages. When people send you crazy text messages, like that happens to me from time to time. I always think like I should print out. I'm probably going to do this. Print out all those texts, like all the crazy accusations and everything else. And then your response, like it's like 10 or 15 texts from somebody. It's just like, you're an asshole and da-da-da. And my thing is, look, this is what we said. This was it. And boom. And then print all that and then put it like in a book and then give it to them for Christmas. It's like you got to rub their nose in it a little bit, Uh, I have guy friends like that are funny, like especially like if it's an argument, like a political argument. Those are always the fun ones because it's not that I'm right about everything, but oftentimes I end up being correct, right? With so I'll get some of these things from people. You this and this. What about Trump with this? I'm like, okay. And then like when it changes, like when it was like the tariff thing was going to destroy the economy, right? I mean, he won't be able to shut down the border. You know what I'm saying? It's all the nonsense that comes at you from people about something that they think. And you got this record of them. They're off their friggin' rocker, man. And okay, well that shit, you wrote that down, man. Bro, you sent this to me. You sent me pages and pages of emails of all this stuff. Could be anything. It could be a family thing over whatever, right? But just people just, now I have a record of your behavior. I can actually take that to a psychiatrist and be like, what do you, I talked to a psychiatrist on Friday. Actually, I had an appointment with a guy. He's a friend. It's a different thing. It is going to help with the VA stuff. But I did talk to him about some other stuff that's going on, and I showed him stuff. He's like, yeah, that person needs some therapy, but maybe some pills. Like, you're actually giving the evidence to the person of your behavior. You understand what I'm saying? It's because again, when you're overly emotional, logic goes out the window, and you start doing things that you shouldn't do that's not going to make you look good. That's all I'm saying. So stop with that. Cut back on the substances. Clear your mind. Eat a friggin' steak. Again, with that, that's it. I went a little long. I hope the sound was good. And be kind to one another. Just, tell the truth. Sometimes when you tell the truth, it's not kind. But you're doing that person a favor. And they might not recognize it right now. But if they are smart, if they're as smart as they think they are, and they think about it, in a quiet place, without distraction, they meditate on it. Make your mind clear, and the answers will come to you. And then that person will come back later and probably apologize to you. People have come back and apologized to me dozens of times. I have thank you cards and apology cards. I got a whole box of them in here that go back my whole life. That's not a joke. Okay? Are you with me? We're on the same page here? Thanks for being here. I'll catch you in the next one.